want to hold the mic. Anyways. Language learning takes a lot of effort, especially when you're trying to retain all these rules, grammar, words, etc. And some would say it's difficult to reach like a native speaker level, although it can be challenging to learn a different language. There are many ways to help you reach your language learning goals. The tips that I will be sharing in this video are tips that I personally use and I found very effective and has helped me a lot, while also being fun and engaging. Hello, I'm Kimmy, welcome to my channel. I make videos about traveling, language learning, researching about other cultures, commentary that surround these topics, while also trying to sprinkle in my own personality to it. Disclaimer, I am not an expert. I know, I'm sorry at this point, sorry. I am not an expert. I am simply just someone who is curious and loves learning about the world, and I would love to bring you along with me. Without further ado, let me show you the tips I use to learn languages the fun way. Yeah. Tip number 1, watch movies and shows. Watching movies and shows for language learning is discussed a lot, but it can be misused and not helpful if you do it incorrectly. So how should you approach this where it can be effective? First, find a subscription or site where you can watch content in your targeted language. I would say like Disney Plus is a great start, as it has films and shows that you're already familiar with, and most of them have a variety of languages you can choose from for the audio and subtitles. If you don't want to use Disney Plus or want to use a different site to watch things on, honestly it would just depend on what language you're trying to learn and what site or subscription you're using to watch that content. Like I know some shows on like HBO Max or Netflix can like change its audio and subtitles to a different language, but it doesn't have like that much of a variety than Disney does, if that makes sense. But it's definitely possible. Honestly, I feel like you could just do a quick Google search, or maybe there's even websites you can use to watch like shows from like foreign countries for you to learn your targeted language. Now that you have your show or movie that you want to watch, whether you're familiar with it or not, please pay attention. You are going to actually pay attention to the content. Don't just mindlessly like play this in the background, okay? Try to understand what the plot is, what the characters are saying, how they're saying it. A bonus with this would be watching the media with no subtitles or have the subtitles in your targeted language. Another bonus would be if the movie or show takes place in the country where your targeted language is from. It can help you understand some phrases that they use or why they use it, their culture and mannerisms. But let's be honest, media sucks. Don't rely on it too much for like representation. So currently I am watching Sintonia on Netflix. It is a Brazilian show, and it has helped me expand my vocabulary and learn like simple everyday phrases or even like modern like slang that they use. Tá ligado? Oh my gosh, they say that all the time. I am watching season 2 and they keep saying tá ligado, and I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all say that every like end and beginning of the sentence. I don't know. This kind of goes under this category, so I kind of want to mention it. Try to watch YouTube videos from people who speak this target language. I would say mainly like vlogs or even commentary videos. There was a bug in my coffee. Ew. I'm not drinking my coffee anymore. That's so sad. Guys, I had 4 hours of sleep. I need my coffee. I'll make another one after this video. Number 2, reading books. For beginners, I feel like it's an obvious choice to choose children's books that are written in your targeted language. You can order these books online, or maybe they're in a bookstore near you never know. When I was in Brazil and visiting family, my aunt was kind enough to lend me these children's books. As someone who made a lot of progress with her Portuguese over the years, it was surprisingly helpful to go over these books, because they included words that I didn't think of or like used in my studies, and like they're simple words that they're teaching to children, so it's easy for me to understand. Like either way, like it was just like fun, because I'm like, okay, so this is a word I should know because kids are learning it, I should know it too, right? That's the science in my head. So I guess for like the next level, I would suggest having one book in English or whatever language you're fluent in, and having that same book but in your targeted language. For example, I love the Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. So when I found out there were books written in Brazilian Portuguese, it was so fun to just like compare like the words and like really like learn in that type of way. And it was like with books that I already love. So yeah, this was very fun to do. 3. Intertwining your religion. This doesn't have to apply to everybody. I know not everybody's religious, but this did actually help me. I'm Christian and I thought this was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Yes! What am I going on about? I'm learning about God's word, but also being a bilingual queen. My grandma actually gave me a Bible in Portuguese, and I would use it to study with my English Bible. Basically doing the same thing that I did comparing an English book with the book in Portuguese. I just learn and compare the words as I go along, looking back and forth, highlighting words that I don't know. I will say this kind of helped me more with like sophisticated vocabulary, and it wasn't that hard. Like, early, sometimes the English version of the Bible is hard for me to understand. I was getting a little nervous with the Portuguese one, but it was fine. It was okay. It wasn't that hard despite the different versions of Bibles I had. Like, the Portuguese Bible that I got doesn't really have, like, a King James version, and my English Bible is, like, an amplified version. So they were, like, just very similar in words, really, and I didn't get lost that much. I would also recommend going to a place of worship or with a community. I want to say church, but I know there's like other religious places, so I didn't really know what to say for that one. A temple, a synagogue, you name it. Whatever you like to study, whatever you like to go to pray, do your thing. My grandma attends a Brazilian church nearby, and I occasionally go with her. It was weird at first not knowing like what the pastor was preaching about, but I got the hang of it, like using keywords and context clues and like actually learning the words too. It also forces you to speak in that targeted language. Whether it's a friend or family member introducing you to others, or you're asking for directions, it's a great way to practice with others. I know it's a privilege to find a church that speaks in my targeted language, and not everyone has this accommodation. Not only do you have to find a place for your religion, but you also have to find a place that has it with your targeted language. That can be hard. But either way, I do still want to throw it out there in case it was a possibility for some people. Now, my last fun way to learn a language would be number 4, listening and translating music. This last tip actually came from like Elysse DeVaga. Is that how you say her name? She's a polyglot and makes language learning videos like this one. She made a video teaching her viewers how she learned Portuguese using music, and she goes into more depth about this tip. I deeply recommend checking out her video, so I'll link it down below in the description. But I am mentioning this tip in my video because it genuinely helped me out, and I still use it for language learning to this day. Basically, a snippet of her explanation: you get songs that are sung in your targeted language, you write down the lyrics, and you try to translate them as best as you can. You can highlight words and phrases you don't know that you can come back to, then review with the translations of these songs to see what you got right or what you missed. Make sure these songs aren't just poetic, okay? Listen to songs that have lyrics that you can use in like everyday conversation. There are playlists you can search up on Spotify that people have created to teach you the language through these songs that they have selected, but you could also recreate one for yourself. If you don't know what artist you can listen to in your targeted language, honestly Google it. Search up who's a popular artist in the country where your targeted language is from. Find out what genres of artists you can listen to. It doesn't have to be like a specific one. Like, everybody who's learning English doesn't have to listen to country songs, There's indie, there's rock, there's genres they created, like in Brazil, bossa nova. I will say, for learning Portuguese, don't use funk. They're using slang that I don't even know. They're using words that I wouldn't use in a conversation. Like, I'm not gonna talk about how big your butt is. Look, I love myself some Brazilian funk. I love it in the edits. I love blasting in the car. I love listening to it in the gym. But if it's for language learning, I find it very ineffective. So you can tell me, oh, I listen to funk. Okay, what words are you learning? How can you hold a conversation through that? Yeah, that's what I thought. My favorite Brazilian artists are Luan Santana, Ana Victoria, Henrique Juliano, I don't know how to say the other guy's name, Ana Castela, and João Gilberto. I'm trying to say it with an accent, but I think I just butchered it or made it sound terrible. So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm quite curious, comment down below what tips have you used that helped you out? Are you using any of these tips that I've mentioned? And what language are you trying to learn? Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, bye.